It is this.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
I'm the juggernaut. Game over, man. It's game over.
They were. And we let them off the hook.
Fantasy football is my religion.
Smile. Smile. 101. I'm undefeated. Never lost.
Hope you guys are buckled up for another fast ride on the Fantasy Gravy podcast. How you doing, Stu?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
I'm doing great. I feel great sitting here recording with you for the official podcast of the Kappa Sigma Alumni Fantasy Football League.
Yeah, none of
so
that.
we got a lot to go over today.
We do. We have League Juggernaut. You know, I think we already have one of those. We have the Ambulance Report. We got the League Consensus Power Rankings. Collusion Corner, which is our new trade / crazy things that happen. We have the WAB Lottery. We've got the Laura Bell Bundy Big Board of Bets. And Brad and Stu's very biased matchup predictions. So I'm
very, very biased.
Super biased. Like as biased can get.
Yep.
All right. So Brad, do you want to go ahead and talk about our fantasy juggernaut in our league? I think it's only fair.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, so I'm going to go over our fantasy juggernaut. Our fantasy juggernaut is, well, it's me. After a few I've made 4 trades since we've drafted. Everybody says, don't trade with Brad, don't trade with Brad. But y'all do. I mean, I think y'all need an intervention. So I appreciate the trades. I think a lot of them are fair. I may have been a little, took the advantage on a couple. But I think overall my team looks pretty good starting week 1.
Not you, Brad. You don't take advantage of league members. You're always on the up and up, and it seems like even fair trades all across the board.
You know, that's what I try to do. I'm very charitable with my trades, and I just believe that the fantasy gods smile on me. But with my luck, they'll all get hurt week 1, so it won't matter.
So in all seriousness, we will have the Juggernaut section. That will be any team that scores over 130 points. Last year, it was week after week after week. We always had at least 1 to 2. Some weeks even, I think we had 4 or 5. So that will be the section that we'll be talking about from now on. But for real, Brad's team's a Juggernaut. It's not even fair. Let's go ahead and move on to injuries for right now.
All right, so Stu, the first injury we have is Mr. Cam Newton, quarterback of the Panthers. Mr. Newton was a case study Thursday night, and why not to play your franchise quarterback at all? When will they learn? But they did it in the preseason. It looked like so many of the teams this summer. Carolina trotted Cam Newton out there for a 3rd preseason game, and he left with a foot injury that's thankfully being called not serious. It was a mild sprain. I believe it was middle foot. You could see it when he played it when it happened. But he's going to be okay. He'll be fine for week 1. But, yeah, just another reason why they should just get rid of preseason.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Rivera came out saying he will start week 1 earlier today. So I don't think there's any issue. I have him in one of my my family league that I've been playing, so I'm not been too worried, but, you know, at the same time, you want to keep...
I got Mr. Scam at Dynasty, and I'd like him to stay healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any real fear of him not playing this year or missing any time right now. No. So, number 2 here...
So, good for you, JJ.
Yeah, well, Brad, this is your guy. Odell Beckham Jr. Will not play he didn't play last Friday's preseason game due to what is called a hip injury. He's been practicing and expected to be ready for the field on regular season, but they're just being cautious, which I don't think is hurting your feelings.
No, when they said, I believe Mo pointed out, he was like, hey, you got a hip pointer. And I'm like, that was like back in week 2, and I was like, oh, good. That means he won't play until week 1.
Yeah.
So, that's what I hope for. I'm all right when they get little nicks like that in the preseason, because usually if the franchise is smart, they'll just shut them down and say, no, we're just going to keep you healthy for week 1, because these games don't count for anything. So what's the point? So I'm glad OBJ is good. He's got a really bad injury history. He really is just a roll the dice. I'm probably not going to get 16 games out of him. I'll be lucky if I get 10. Just an injury-prone guy, but he plays full speed, and he plays hard, and that's what usually happens.
What was the crazy?
Speaking of other wide receivers.
What was the crazy statistic that actually Sammy Watkins had played more games than Odell Beckham Jr.? Which is just
that's very true.
Which is just absolutely nuts, because that dude misses a couple of games a year too. But I didn't realize that OBJ was worse than that. So that was just nuts to me.
Yeah, that is crazy. But I think what the difference is, though, is when OBJ starts, he wins you weeks. And
There's
when
that.
Sammy Watkins starts, he loses you weeks.
There's that.
I think that's the main difference between the two.
Except for that 1 week when you trade him and then he goes off for like 25 points. Other than that, he loses you your points.
Well, and when looking at players, you can always look at the final stats of the season and be like, oh, this guy's a wide receiver 12. But was he? He just had to stay healthy all season. I like the average fantasy points per game. That's the stat I like to look at.
Yeah, much better.
Those are what's going to win you weeks. Speaking of wide receivers with injuries, we have a long list of them, including DK Metcalf, the prodigy out of Ole Miss that got drafted by the Seahawks. The speedy rookie had minor knee surgery this offseason, but according to Seattle coach Pete Carroll, there's a real chance he's ready for the regular season. Pete Carroll's a liar. He will not be ready.
He's a dirty
Pete
fibber.
Carroll's always on the optimistic side. He's always glass half full. Metcalf remains a potential sleeper and keeper pick in the right circumstances with a lack of other weapons that Russell Wilson has in Seattle. It's true, because they only have Tyler Lockett, and if I own Tyler Lockett or Chris Carson right now in fantasy, I'm a happy camper, because those two are the only real weapons that Russell Wilson has.
Yeah, Metcalf is on Sam's team. He's a guy that Sam can just let sit there and try to hopefully get healthy throughout the year. But at the same time, if he finds someone better, has a better option, he can drop him pretty easily. He's just he's just got a potential to be the number 2 there at Seattle, to get some whenever they're double teaming Lockett. So he's got potential, but hopefully he can get healthy.
Yeah, speaking of other wide receivers, can you tell us about Amari Cooper?
Yeah.
Or Amari Pooper?
Yeah, well, Cooper's in quite a bit of pain as he attempts to prepare for his 2019 season. He says he's anticipating to be healed by week 1, but and pain free, but that's yet to be seen, and we'll see what happens. I mean, he's still the number 1 wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. But I would definitely watch. You're gonna want to try to keep up with any announcements about him, just because he is dealing with pain, and it's all about pain management. If he can deal with it, it's not a big deal. But pain comes and goes, and so that could be a season-long injury or season-long lingering problem. So just something to watch out for. I know of a guy that's super excited about this next piece of news. You want to talk about that?
I believe Mike Golick Jr. is really excited about Kenyon Drake being out of his walking boot, which is good news for his status to play sometime soon. But his fantasy stock is lessening as the timetable is yet to reveal itself. But I think he'll be fine. Kalen Ballage looked horrible his last 2 preseason games. I'm glad I checked out the Bellagio when I did, because it looks like it's crumbling. And
well, you literally just
going to be the workhorse.
You literally
so
just
Mike
picked
Golick Jr., aka Dixon. I think
you literally just picked up the Bellagio in our dynasty.
I did.
Yes.
I thought I dropped him in Dynasty.
No, you may have earlier today, but literally yesterday afternoon you picked up the Bellagio, and we're so excited about it.
What?
Yes.
I'll have to check that.
But no, I know Dixon was super excited about Kenyon Drake being out of the walking boot. That gives him a lot more depth. I don't think it crushed his team when he was gone, but it definitely is nice if he can end up picking those right weeks. I played that game last year, and he can win you a couple of weeks if he can actually, if the coach will pull his head out of his butt for just a minute and realize he's a really good player.
I didn't pick up the Bellagio. I didn't all caps. Dixon picked up the Bellagio.
There we go.
In Dynasty. I was just excited to yell the Bellagio.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was like, why? Why would you be excited about the Bellagio? You can calm down with that. Our next.
I think he owns Kenyon Drake in Dynasty, though. I think that's why.
Okay. All right. So next we have Will Fuller. Him and Kitekudi, or however you say that last name, I'm not sure. Kute. There we go. They're,
I don't know.
They're both pretty injury risked at this point. The Fuller seems to, he's the guy that went on the crazy streak last year, and he's done it a couple of times. So if he can stay healthy, I mean, sit him there in your flex and watch him go at this point. Like, just see what he can do. But when he's hurt, drop him. Who cares at this point? But that's the guy. He's droppable if he's hurt. If he's available, put him in the flex and let him go. But other than that, like, he's not a serious guy that you've got to hopefully you're not depending on him as your wide receiver too.
Will Fuller?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
But I have Emmanuel Sanders just in case it doesn't work out. I have another injury-prone wide receiver. Then I have Curtis Samuel, who's also an injury-prone wide receiver. I think we know the way I'm going with this.
Risky wide receiver 2s, 3s. That's what you're really a fan of, is what I'm hearing.
And hey, even my wide receiver 1's injury-prone. By week 2, I may have no wide receivers.
None. All right, Brad. Well, let's go ahead. So we've talked about Dynasty a little bit. I was the champion last year, which was super amazing. Gonna go ahead and go for round 2. And see if I can make it a repeat. We'll talk about our Dynasty League time to time, but it's not the league. It's not the league of record. So we'll keep the guys that are in the Dynasty updated. But more than anything, this is the league.
Can I throw out a trade that happened in Dynasty just recently? Because I thought it was pretty interesting.
Sure.
Kind of think of this. This is a Dynasty trade.
Yeah.
So Rod traded Dalvin Cook to Matt and got Robert Woods, Sony Michel, and a 2020 first-round pick. What a freaking haul.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rod, your roster needed to be overhauled, and you did it. Good trade, sir.
I'll
Good
agree.
trade.
I'll agree. That definitely was a ridiculous trade. Wanted a lot more from me for Robert Woods, and so congratulations, Rod. That was a wonderful trade. Matt needed a running back, but I think definitely Rod came out ahead on that one.
Okay, so enough of Dynasty because neither one's going to the championship. So league consensus rankings.
This is new this year.
Yeah. You sent a thing out where everybody just puts who they think from 12 to 1 is, and they vote, and then it goes all to a Google sheet that crunches the numbers and then lets us know who the consensus 1 through 12 is.
Everybody in the league except for Sam and Mo voted this time around. I will start sending these out to your emails. You'll be able to update them, so throughout the week if there's an injury or if there's something that changes, a trade or something, you want to change your vote, you will be able to live change your vote, and it will show up on our rankings before we podcast every week. So I thought this was a pretty cool way. It's less just me and Brad. There's a lot more consensus between the entire league, which I thought was really awesome to know what everybody, how these ranks work out are truly how we all voted, and it's averaged out and works out really well. So we're going to go ahead and go with number 12. This was a little bit of a change. The number 12 spot was pretty solid until these last couple of guys came in, and I think this has to do with the trade that happened. Rod is number 12. And
we have Mr. Adam, the guru, at 11.
he was 12 solid for like almost this entire time, but these recent trades, I think, kind of flipped him a little bit, gave him a little bit more of a fair team, a little bit brighter future. So it's not like he's high up on the league now, but he's still doing a lot better.
Yep. And then right after Adam, we got Mr. Day-Day, who's homeless.
Yeah, he's pretty upset about that. CoPro kept stealing from him left and right. Yeah, it was interesting. Still not the worst draft he's ever had. I actually don't hate his team. He's got some good pieces. I think he'll have a better year than this, but for right now, this is where he's ranked at.
Yep. And then right after Day-Day, we got Mo, who is not shank free.
No, not shank free at all. So you got to be careful where you're ranking, but seems like everybody likes the anonymousness of this draft, and so less shanking is going to occur. So they're willing to put him lower in the rankings for right now.
Yeah, and then right after Mo, we got Mr. Matthew Shepard. So we got Rod 12, Adam 11, Day 10, Mo 9, and Matt coming up at number 8.
So that one shocked me a little bit that he went that low, but when you get a couple of these middle round guys, even some of these coming up, like it gets close, they get really, really tight, so it just becomes, what does everybody really think about them? And some of these guys have really peak numbers somewhere that are skewing the numbers around a little bit. So these middle rounds get a little washy, and it could interchange pretty easily. Next we've got Vince at number 7. So that puts you like right in the middle of the league. You're not the bottom, you're not at the very bottom. You're not really in the top half though. So it's you've got room to grow. Your wins are going to change that pretty quick. Or losses.
Yeah. And then pulling up the number 6 is you, Stu.
I'll take it. I'm all right with being right in the middle. It's better than being in the dildo bracket, and I'm right there with playoffs, so I'll take it.
Anything is better than being in the dildo bracket, because as you're with me bringing a new child into the home, the last thing is the year of their birth is to bring shame into that household. So that's the number one thing to avoid, is to bring shame upon the household. They don't want to be like, yeah, I was born and then my dad wanted a dildo. No, they don't want the trophy that shall not be named. It's not a good play toy. We'll leave that with you guys.
Again, the dildo has never gone to somebody that was married. So that's getting less and less as more of us get married. So there's very, very few of us left that the dildo can go to that don't have wives.
Cross Adam off the list soon, and then cross Sam off the list.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So we're going to have Vince and Rod can just pass it back and forth with each other, and Mo. That's about the only 3 we're going to have. Those 3 can just swap between each other.
Pull out the tank and say, you will not mail
You
that
will
to me.
not take...
I will not sign for the package.
Mo will be drafting from prison because he'll shank the mailman trying to deliver that thing. So
I'll feed your cat Cinder, Mo. Don't worry.
All right, so we've got...
so coming up at number 5...
We've got Lovick.
We got Lovick, number 5.
Woo!
Last year's champion. He's got a good trio of wide receivers again. He loves having them 3 wide receivers. Running back's a little shaky unless Devontae Freeman works out. He's going to have a little nagging pain with Matt Breida with Tevin Coleman, it looks like. But we'll see what happens.
Well, and he's got his third wide receiver with Julian Edelman. Hopefully, if Josh Gordon can stay healthy, he may not get quite as much work as he was originally predicted. So that could be the only thing that could hamper a little bit of that. But again, it's his flex play, so not as bad as what it could be with some other guys.
Yeah, very true, very true. And then at number 4, we have CoPro.
I like his team. This is, again, a lot of people have stated it. I will agree. This is definitely one of his best drafts he's ever done.
I will say this: if Zeke holds out and keeps holding out into the season, he's going to get a lot of points from Mr. Pollard early on. Yep,
he is. That's the thing. You got to hold your course with those kind of guys. It worked out for Connor, but at the same time, if Zeke comes back, toss him like a paper bag, because there's no point in having that guy on your roster if Zeke is back. But until that point, hold on to him for dear life.
Yep. Unless you're me.
Unless you're Brad and you throw him away like a paper bag. And then at number 3, we've got Sammy with an I. Commissioner. All right, so he had a good draft.
His birthday yesterday.
He did, and we all sent him amazing things.
He turned 57.
57, looking good for your age.
7 years old. I know. He doesn't look it. He looks 60. But yeah. Sam, our commissioner, he's an old man, and he did pretty good fishing in the draft. I love his team. I love the depth of it. It's just good players all the way down. So he's way to the very end of the quarterback, and
it's pretty funny how many of us had him at 1 and 2, and he still ended up 3, because there was also some people that put him like at the very bottom of the draft, which was just hilarious to me. Yeah, so his numbers got all kinds of weird, messed up. So it was interesting. Number 2, we've got Dixon. I like his team. I think it got better with Kenyon Drake coming back even. So I think he's got a strong possibility. He's every year just seems to win quite a few games in a row, and then struggles in the middle of the season, and then picks it back up just to make the playoffs. So I believe he's made playoffs every year he's been in the league.
I believe he went to 2 championship games.
He did do that, and then last year he made the playoffs. And I think he only been in 3 years. Is this year number 4 for him?
This is year number 4.
So yeah, he's made 3 years to the playoffs and 2 years to championships. He's doing something right.
Yeah. Always a bridesmaid, but hey, one day it'll come, Dixon. Maybe this is the season.
We'll see. We got, and at number 1, the funny thing about this, Brad, you're number 1, but you were voted this before that stupid trade. So yeah, like, and none of you have
stupid trade.
Yeah, which is just ridiculous. And I've known for like a week. Even if we changed grades for a bunch of people, I still don't think it would change much. You would still probably be closer to number 1 with just the average of you don't have anything below 5. So it's pretty interesting to see how that all worked out. So yeah, you're number 1. You've got a good team and it's solid. Flex or your backups are a little rougher, but we all know you're a waiver wire scavenger. So
I think I know why I went 1, and why I'd probably stay 1 is because I went and got a kicker. And when you go out and get a man, Steven Gostkowski, I mean, that's the man that he can just carry your entire team on his back. I mean, that man once hit a 75-yard field goal on ice. It actually went around the world, came back, counted for 2. So, Gostkowski's a stud, and I'm glad I traded for him. And, yeah, he's the reason I am where I am.
Yep, that's all. It's all about the kickers. That's right.
It is all about the kickers.
All right, guys. Next up, we've got the Laura Bell Bundy Big Board of Bets.
Giddy on up and giddy on out.
Lord, you fellows got drunk and made a bunch of bets, like dumb, stupid, and kind of weird bets all around. So it was interesting. The season hasn't even started, and there are 9 bets already. Liquor and water, and even one for $1, which is random, but okay.
Holler for $1.
Holler for $1. That's Day and Rod betting on $1. That's it's pretty crazy. We've got all kinds of different bets. We've got a liquor bet for Drew Brees scoring more points, more passing touchdowns than Deshaun Watson. Matt's going to lose that one pretty hard and heavy. Lovick and Matt also have a water bet for Adam Thielen versus Diggs. And yeah, I hope Adam wins that, or Matt wins that one, because I hope Thielen scores a bunch of points. Water bet with Lovick and Brad. After 6 games, Kyler Murray will not be a top 10 quarterback. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, interesting. Lovick went and traded for a quarterback after that.
Brad,
You have no faith in Murray, Lovick?
no,
Why would you
clearly.
go and trade for Russell Wilson? You got Kyler Murray.
Shep was real drunk and said that Big Ben will be a top 5 quarterback this year.
Brain injury.
There was some type of injury there. Mo has a bet with who? Brad. Mo says Eckler will have more points than Justin Jackson. Hopefully, I mean, I think Brad will win that if Melvin Gordon doesn't come back until week 10.
Yes, because I think Justin Jackson will have more touchdowns.
Yeah, the point. The points yardage might not win that one, but points, yeah, I think he probably will win that one.
Yep, and we got a water bet on who scores more points over the fantasy season. I said Lamar Jackson. Shep said Big Ben, and then voided if somebody got injured. And then we also had another water. Yeah, and then we also had another water bet. Who scores more points over the fantasy season? Shep once again saying Mitch Trubisky, and Lovick said no, it's going to be Sam Darnold.
I'll take Lovick's side on this one, actually.
Yep, and then Matt just kept on betting as he kept on drinking bourbon, and he says, who scores more points over the fantasy season? Shep says A.J. Green. You said Marvin Jones. And then, like you said, we had the dollar bet, the famous $1 bet for $1. Someone's going to holler. Michael Day thinks Derrick Henry scores over 15 points week 1. Rod says he will not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are your big border bets.
They are. There's some interesting bets in there. I feel like there's less alcohol in our systems right now, and there's less betting going on. We'll see throughout the season. Brad and I normally come up with a couple throughout the year. Excluding this podcast, we'll probably try to come up with at least one bet a week, just to make it a little spicy and give the Laura Bell Bundy her dues.
Yeah, so you have to give her dues.
You do. I mean, she deserves all of our praise.
And then now we're going to move on to Brad and Stu's biased matchup predictions.
Very biased. Very biased.
Very, very biased. Game of the week, because if you watched Fantasy Tips this morning, you saw Stu and Shep have a 50% chance each to win it. Stu, I'm going to let you be the tiebreaker. Who's going to win the matchup between you and Shep?
Yeah, it's going to be me. It's not even going to be close. The sleeper's wrong. I'm going to win. Shep's going to cry. We're just going to do this in a couple.
Sleeper couldn't sleep on Stu.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about you think between CoPro and Day Day?
Oh, I'll give that one to CoPro all day.
Okay, yeah, because he has Patrick Mahomes and Day Day doesn't.
Yep.
It's just that simple.
It's just he's gonna steal his quarterback and steal his week 1 win. It's not even gonna be pretty.
Yeah, I mean, with Day Day being Mahomes, he probably won't set his lineup. He'll be out begging for change, probably trying to find a nice shopping cart. I recommend a Target shopping cart when you're Mahomeless, because those are the really nice, sturdy ones to use.
Very sturdy.
And then very, very sturdy. And then we have Adam versus me.
You're the
Adam, I think Lamar Jackson's going to go ham against Miami. Lamar Jackson's going to go ham. Unfortunately, Lamar Jackson's the only person on your team that's going to go ham, and I'm going to win. It's going to be easy. I'll start 1-0. I'll brag about it because I'm a sore winner. And simple as that. I'm going to show you my chub on Sunday. Just that simple.
Yeah, basically. It's not even going to be pretty. You're the fantasy juggernaut already. So, yeah, that one's an easy one to call. Then we've got Sammy with an I versus the Dixon. This is going to be a close one as well. I know that Sleeper doesn't predict that, but I want to say Dixon. It's going to be close. It's going to be interesting. Do you agree?
It's going to be close. Sam has a good team.
He does.
A really good team. I don't remember who I said I thought I would win in it. But, Yeah.
That victory
the
victory
roof
coffee has
was-
ran out.
Yeah, the victory coffee ran out. I need some afternoon stay alive coffee. But I think I picked Sam, but oh, man, I mean they're both good teams.
Do you want to make a water bet?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Who do you think's gonna win?
I'm going Dixon.
You're going Dixon. You know what, Sam? I got faith in you. I got faith in Alvin Kamara. I'm gonna go with Sam. Wins week 1.
All right, water bet. Water bet for week 1.
Put it on the board.
Yep, it's up there. All right, so then we've got Rodney versus Lovick. I'm gonna go Lovick on this one.
Yep, same here. I'm gonna go with Lovick. I just feel Lovick's got the better players. I think those 3 wide receivers are gonna ball out, and I gotta give it to Lovick on this one.
There we go. All right, and then we've got Vincent versus Mo. Bad versus bad.
The thing is, like, Vince has got, he hadn't put Todd Gurley in his lineup. He still has to pick up a kicker. When he does that, he's probably going to be projected to beat Mo. But I think Todd Gurley's usage is not going to be used that much, especially early in the season. I don't think there's going to ground and pound him. I got to go with Mo. I think Mo wins it.
I'm good with it.
And I'm sorry, Vince, but it's going to be close. I think their game might be just as close as your Matt's. So,
well, now I will say
there's going to be 3 really close ones, and it's going to be Sam and Dixon, you and Stu, yourself, you and Matt, and then Dixon Mo. I think all 3 are going to be pretty close.
You will find a little different this year, guys. Sleeper predictions are much better than NFL predictions ever thought about being. They don't use NFL Scout here. They actually use real analysts and real statistics in these projections. So I know last year when we were doing Dynasty, it was a lot closer than what NFL ever was.
I really miss the NFL Scout, though, because they would give advice, and I would just do the opposite of it, and I'd win.
You'd win. You're gonna have to do your own. You have to do your own advice. You could.
Now I gotta do my own, and let's just face it, I'm not that smart. So
hey, Brad,
we're just gonna. Hopefully, I have some.
You could still buy NFL Scout, Brad.
I could, and then I could just go with the opposite of what they say.
Opposite of whatever they say. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. And then one last thing I was going to go over. I don't know if you guys knew this, but apparently some quarterback retired for the Indianapolis Colts named Andrew Luck. I don't know who he is. But anyways, this guy retired, and apparently it might have an effect on a lot of y'all's fantasy teams. So, like, for example, Marlon Mack, he might be downgraded. T.Y. Hilton, downgraded. Eric Ebron, heavily downgraded. What do you think, Stu? You think this downgrades basically everybody on the Colts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was already trying to trade for T.Y. as just a okay wide receiver 2 on the chance that Andrew Luck didn't play. But now that it's for sure and he's never coming back, yeah, T.Y. Hilton's a low-end wide receiver 2 at that. He gets some touchdowns here and there, but he's nowhere near as consistent. He pretty much tweeted out yesterday how he's going to miss his best friend in the entire world, and fantasy owners are going to miss that pairing as well. So Marlon Mack is a winning running back. Like, if they're winning, he's doing good. If they're losing, he's not doing so great. He's not the guy that helps bring them back a lot of the times. So I'm not. I know he got drafted as if he's a wide receiver or running back 2. He's now a low 2, high 3. So that's a little rough for some of the owners that own him. And then Eric Ebron, yeah, good luck with that, or Jack Doyle, or any of the rest of them. The only person I would feel comfortable drafting would be T.Y. Hilton.
But when he doesn't have Andrew Luck, he basically turns into Vincent Jackson. If y'all remember who he was the fantasy whack-a-mole. You're either going to get nothing or you're going to get 25 to 30 points.
Yep.
When last time T.Y. didn't have Andrew Luck, there were several games where he didn't even have 30 yards receiving. So he's going to win you weeks or he's going to lose you weeks. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah, we'll see how it ends up playing out. Maybe they've built up a rapport this year a little bit more, but it's definitely going to hurt him this year for fantasy value. So we'll see. But I think that's all we've got for today, Brad. It was wonderful to get to have another year with you guys. I hear that Matt loves you with a passion, is what I'm hearing all the time now.
Yeah, I have a drop where he says, "I love Brad."
Yeah, he's confessed it. He's confessed his love for you. I hear. Lovick really likes comparing dick sizes, is what I heir.
Yeah, especially among old men and very young athletic men.
Yeah, he's really about it. Their podcast is. I doubt that they will find the time to do it together. I did promise some scandalous footage. If you guys listen to this long, you will now see the scandalous footage on your screens. It was very shocking that this occurred after they got really drunk, but we'll just talk about that at another time. But I think that's all. You'll see. I
don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good week. We will see you guys after week 1, and we'll talk to you guys then.
All right, y'all have a great week. Cardinals in first place.